Hi parents, how are you? So now we're going to be talking about GRRRR, and what are some of the things that your kids can learn from the story. Um, so there's a lot of really powerful messages in GRRRR. One of I think the most significant ones is the message that some of the goals that society puts out for kids aren't always the best goals. Um, if we look at the mistake Fred makes, thinking that if he is a winner, that's going to make him happy. Um, most TV advertisements project that kind of thing. Um, I always think of a Nike advert. It showed somebody running in like the inner city at night. It was all like rainy and gray, and looked like a really miserable thing to do. And it said, train in the dark so that you can shine in the light. And so basically Nike's message is if you can run faster than everyone else, you can outshine them, and then you will be happy. Which I don't think is a perfect message. And I think GRRRR does a really good job of helping us see that message isn't totally perfect. And so I think the book does a really good job of helping kids to question that specific message that some of our societies project on us, or impose on us. But I think it's also really important for helping them to lay a foundation in order to be able to question other things when they grow up. So that they see that just because this is what most of the people are doing doesn't necessarily make it right. Yeah, so I think another incredibly important message from GRRRR is the importance of being able to empathize. Being able to put yourself in the other person's shoe and kind of look at the situation from their perspective. So Fred does this really successfully when he forgives Boris for stealing his GRRRR and, basically cheating him out of victory in the contest. Trying to cheat him out of victory into the contest. Because basically, if Fred hadn't been able to forgive Boris, then he wouldn't have been able to make the positive changes in his own life. He had to see himself in Boris before he could realize, hey, I'm making that same mistake. I don't want to make that same mistake. I should make some more positive changes in my life. And again, I think with kids especially, forgiving is not always the easiest thing to do. We tend to, present the bad guy as the bad guy. And so I think this book does a really good job of showing that things are a little bit more complicated than that. And, if we want to really be able to grow as a human being, we're going to have to kind of get away from some of this us and them and be able to really kind of see ourselves in the other, in particular see ourselves in the people who are kind of our enemies. And then I think the other, really basic message, but that's still incredibly valuable from the story, is the importance of having people that you can lean on. Because, Fred is a lot better off once he has allies. And then I think the last really important thing to maybe explore with your children when you look at this book is basically the way that Fred is compensating for a hole in his heart with something else. And so helping our kids to realize that, sometimes our brains don't work in a super direct way. There seem to be a lot of unconscious or subconscious processes that can sort of manipulate our behavior in ways that we wouldn't really expect. And so Fred doesn't really realize that he's feeling lonely, but he clearly is because, he says in the beginning, who needs friends? It's like, well, no one asked him if he needed friends. So clearly the fact that he brought it up means that on a subconscious level, he realizes that he's lonely, and he realizes that, basically bonding with objects rather than other sentient beings isn't really a good way to make yourself happy. It's a really valuable way to kind of lay the foundation for your kids of the fact that, like, there is kind of this inner turmoil in our brains. And that, yeah, like I think, like Freud rightly pointed out, that most of this turmoil is actually happening under the surface in a way that we're not really consciously aware of. So helping the kids to get comfortable and to be kind of aware of the fact that they are going to have to navigate this tension within themselves, I think is incredibly important. And again, it's a good example of a very big idea that would be very difficult to present to kids directly. But that by looking at the situation of the story, we've been able to kind of take this, kind of massive university level philosophy type idea and distill it down into something that's relevant and actually really genuinely accessible to young children. Cool. So yeah, hope you guys found it helpful, and yeah, enjoy the book, and hope your kids enjoy it too. All right, thanks. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out our downloadable activities on thanda.org.